Talk about that side of her game.
You know, it's the most important part of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, talent will take you only a certain distance in our game, in the big girls' game. And the ability to be able to focus in on one pitch at a time. Trust your coach that calls the game. Trust your teammates to play behind you and not get caught up in all the distractions that can go with it. And so Meghan has just come in and done a fantastic job all year. She's been pretty consistent. And she has moments, but the one thing I like about her is it doesn't take a whole lot to get her out of that.
And that was evident by your mound trip. It was 3-1, the 3-1 pitch count, she was in the 3-1 count.
Yeah.
And boom, boom, 2 pitches and she, what was your message when you went out there?
I don't know if I can repeat it, but I just basically told her to throw it by her. I thought she was going to take the next pitch for sure. But, to just go attack them. The pressure's on them.
Yeah.
And we all know that a pitcher like Meghan, she has the advantage.
Yeah.
So she just has to trust that and not get caught up in the what ifs. And a lot of times pitchers can pitch ahead, meaning they're not going after that hitter, they're worried about the person on deck, and that would be distracted and that wouldn't be mentally tough. So, you can reel her in when she has a moment, when she gets off.
Quickly.
Meghan, you, in the beginning of the game, you were getting into a lot of deep counts, but you kind of settled in as the game goes on. How did you kind of calm down and settle in the game?
I think I really just relaxed and I started just attacking batters more and not so much worrying about what the hitter was doing or what the umpire was doing, and just trusting Biggie and trusting Katie and trusting my team behind me, and that helped me get ahead of more batters.
On that mental toughness side, growing up, who influenced you that way? Just focus, don't be intimidated. That approach.
I think my parents have always taught me, you can't, if you give up a walk or you give up a hit or anything, a home run, you can't just quit. That's not how it works. You're never going to be great that way. So you have to really rebound and be tougher than the batter and be tougher than everyone out there. And I was just taught that since I was younger and I started playing. So.
And a lot of times you'll see a pitcher start spinning on the mound and start pacing around and losing their edge. And you're not doing that. Do you have an example when you were younger where maybe you had to learn how to do that? You had to overcome that.
Yeah. So one time I was in 5th grade, and I think I started a game, and I was pretty good at that point. People knew I was pretty good, but I walked 4 batters in a row, and then I walked 5, and then I walked 6, and the batters are crossing the plate, and I got taken out, and I was really, really upset. I think I was crying, and it was a doubleheader. And the coach is like, Meghan, you're starting the next game. And I did much better the next game.
What enabled you to do that? Because, you're 5th grade. That's not, you're not prepared to handle that as much as you obviously are at this age.
I was upset, but my mom especially is always like, well, there's nothing you can do about it now. So I was like, she's right, so I should just go and do better the next time.
What are you doing best right now? What are you happiest with?
I think right now I'm pretty happy with my just approach to batters. I feel overall, like Hutch said, I do have moments, but I think overall, I'm doing a better job of just trusting myself and attacking batters.
Hutch, can you talk about the decision to send Theis home on that fielder's choice?
Wasn't much decision making. I saw the ball going up the middle. Honestly, I did not see the kid field it. I was sending her. I thought the ball was getting through, and in midstream, I realized that she actually had it, and I was like, "We're gonna keep going," and we snuck it in on him really because Ace came up and they took a moment off, and we were being aggressive. We were aggressive several times in that game, and that one just happened to work.
And can you talk about what you've seen from the base running lately in general?
Well, I was really not happy with Nikki Wald being out. That's not her job. She has one job. And the pinch runners have one job when they come in. But we're going to need, we're not swinging real well right now. I can't tell you why, but yesterday I didn't think we swung well. I didn't think we swung well tonight. And I think we allow the opposing pitcher to get in our heads a little bit. So as a coach, your job is to try to find another way to get it done. And that's what we did today. And, I knew it was going to be a defensive game. I was not at all surprised that it was a close game and a low-scoring game.
Meghan, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Katie?
Yeah, Katie's awesome, like, as a catcher, and, like, as a person. Like, she's somebody who you can always, like, talk to about anything, and she's very calming. So, like, when I'm out there with Katie, like, I know she's got my back, and sometimes, like, if she sees something in me, like, I get a little stressed or just off or something, like, she always comes out there, and she's really, she's, like, reassuring, and she really always has your back. Like, she's a fantastic teammate.
Yeah, and she also mentioned, like, a lot of the times when she comes out, just to the mound, she tells jokes to calm down the pitcher. Like, did she do that throughout the game, and did it, like, I guess it worked, if that happened?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily jokes, but just kind of like, hey, like one of the things, like, tonight she told me, she's like, you were born to do this. And I thought that was really cool, because, like, I've wanted to be here for so long, and just, she was like, hey, like, you love this, like, you want to do this, and then you kind of remember, you're like, oh yeah, like, I do, and it kind of gets you back in the right mindset. So she's awesome at, like, knowing what to say at the right time.
How old were you when you came to a game here at Alumni Field for the first time? Do you remember? Was it in 5th grade?
4th, maybe? I think I was 10.
Okay.
Or oh God, I was young. It was a super regional against Tennessee. They lost.
What
That
were
was
your-
2010. So.
Okay, I was like 12, so like 5th, 6th grade, maybe.
What were your first impressions, and how did that love of Michigan softball build?
I just thought it was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've never been, like, at a softball game with this many people, and they were so good. And it was Michigan. I've always been a Michigan fan, so it was like an instant, like, I'm a fan. Like, this is awesome.
Did you have a favorite player over the years?
I mean, I always liked the pitchers. Like, I loved watching Haley Wagner pitch. I think she's a lefty. I like lefties a lot, too. I mean, I don't think I like her a lot. I don't want to, like, play favorites. Like, Megan Benson was awesome to watch. I mean, everyone was, really.
We all remember the World Series, the mental toughness she showed there against a great team.
I know this may sound like maybe bragging a little bit, but when did you know that you were going to be good at this?
At softball?
Yeah.
Maybe like 7th, 8th grade. Like 8th, maybe. That's when, like, colleges started noticing me. So I was like, hey, like, I'm pretty good.
Good. Hutch, could you talk about, especially, like, what have you seen from Katie Alexander at the plate, like, hitting lately, especially during the Penn State series last year?
Just look at what she's been doing, and I see the kid who is just doing what she's capable of doing. And she's actually capable of hitting a lot more bombs, as she agrees. But she's just trying to get better, and she's just trying to help us win. And, if you can get all the kids to just try to help us win and not feel like they have to do it all themselves, I mean, then we'll be clicking. Because I think a lot of the kids put a lot of pressure on themselves. And Katie can do that too, but she's really she's buying into the message we've given her. We've given her a specific plan, and it's really helping her, and she's allowing it to. And, it's fun to watch. It's fun to coach. She's been really fun to coach.
And what area do you think she's improved the most since she came here?
Since she came here overall?
Yeah.
Well, all these kids, first of all, they just grow up.
Mm-hmm.
They grow up. They go through the ups and downs that go with a season. And there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs. And I love her confidence more than anything. Why she has become not just our starting catcher, but a great catcher is her confidence. She's confident back there, and now she's getting confident at the plate. And that's awesome. And that's what every kid needs. Whether you're pitching the ball or trying to hit the ball, you have to have confidence in yourself, knowing that there's a lot of failure involved.
And can you talk about what you've seen from Katie defensively lately as well?
Same. She's just confident. She manages the game. She manages the pitchers. She does a fantastic job. She's a very good catcher. I've had a lot of good players. Katie's as good a catcher as we've had. We've had a lot of good catchers too. She's doing a great job.
Okay. I think I'm good.
All good?
Yep. Thank you.
That's a great compliment.
It is.
Yeah.
And she